Whew. All right. Hey there, everybody. This is CP Cards and Dice, and welcome to Game 3 of our exhibition season for the Jackson Heights Metros IP Inside Pitch Baseball League team. We drafted this team, so take a look at the team. Tell me what you think. Give me some input. Philip Reynolds is in the house. Welcome, Philip Reynolds. It's always great to see Philip. I'm not playing the Mets today. It's the Metros. I don't know if I wrote the Metros. I may have written the Mets. So this is your home for tutorials and strategy and player profiles, history reviews, news, tips, Topps baseball cards, rants, unboxings, and lots of chat back and forth about our hobby. All right, it's going to be the Reds and Gary Nolan facing the Metros and Doc Ellis, one of my favorite pitchers of all time. He was a guy that really was outspoken, a little bit eccentric, and you know what? He was confident. He believed in himself. And shoot me an email when you're ready. Yeah, this is a 7-inning game, Rick. So it's a very short, quick game. We got two good pitchers. They pitch the whole inning, the whole game. I don't jump from pitcher to pitcher. I just want to get a feel for my team. And leading off for the Reds is going to be Bobby Tolan, the right fielder. Then in left field is Johnson. Tony Perez at third base, batting third. Batting fourth is Lee May, the first baseman. Johnny Bench, greatest catcher of the 70s. Maybe the best catcher of all time. Batting fifth. Batting sixth is Tommy Helms. Batting seventh, is Woody Woodward, the shortstop. Batting eighth, the center fielder Stewart, replacing the Reds' Pete Rose, the icon Pete Rose, who is playing on the Metros. That's right. And then it's going to be Gary Nolan, who was 8-8 with a 3.55 ERA and 109 innings pitched. And we're about to get started. It's Doc Ellis, who is 11-17. He will have better years. He was 11-17 with a 3.58 ERA, 219 innings pitched. But he is really a force to be reckoned with throughout the early 70s. So I'm very happy to have him on the team. I like his personality, and I'm glad he's going to make things lively in the dugout and in the clubhouse and for the Metros. So here we go. We're using an inside pitch, and inside pitch is a red. You read it first as a column, the white as the row, and then the 20-sided die is going to give us additional information when we need it. We're ready to roll. Let's move this a little bit so you get a better look at the cards. Lately, my camera's been good to me. I don't know how long that'll last. Let's knock on wood. And before I'm going to start, I'm going to take a quick sip of my coconut antioxidant cocoa fusion drink from Bai. Now, my daughter brought that one day and said, "Oh, Pop, this is disgusting. Why don't you try it?" And I was like, "All right, let me take a little sip." And I was like, "Yeah, that's kind of weird." Well, the bottle lingered in the refrigerator for about a week. And every couple of days, I'd say, "Oh, well, there's nothing to drink. I don't want to drink water. I had 4 glasses already. Let me take a sip of this stuff." Well, guess what? By the end of the week, I was hooked. So it's Bobby Tolan leading it off. Let's go. Pitch from Doc Ellis. It's a 1-5er, and that's going to be a blank. So that means we go to Bobby Tolan. I start off a little bit more slowly to kind of do like a pseudo tutorial. Off of Tolan's card, it's a 6-3, and that's a fly ball to right field. Our right fielder is Jones is in left. Pete Rose in right field makes the catch. Del Unser's our center fielder. So that's left field Jones, center field Unser, and Pete Rose makes the catch. F9. Next is Johnson, Alex Johnson. He batted .315 in 139 games. That's a 1-1. That's a potential error, question mark. So we don't know if it's going to be an error, but we're going to check it out, and it's definitely going to be an error. 2-4, and that's a fly ball to right field. Now, the question, actually, you know what? It's a 4, so it's not going to be an error. It's a fly ball, and on a 4, the outfielder actually catches it. So another ball to Rose. It's a snow cone, but he holds on to it. And now it's Tony Perez. It's a 6-5, and that's a K. A 19 won't be a K. We're playing at Shea Stadium, by the way. That's the home field in Queens, Flushing, Queens, New York. It's going to be a 4-5. And versus a righty, that's a slow chopper to second baseman Martinez. He's there, over to first, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down for Doc Ellis. We go to the bottom half of the first inning. Metro's going to bring up Jones, Unser, and Pete Rose. Bando is the 4th place batter. Sanguine is the 5th batter. He's the catcher. Eddie Kranepool, first baseman, batting 6th. Batting 7th is the shortstop, Popovich. Batting 8th is Martinez, the second baseman. Batting 9th is Doc Ellis. Here's the pitch from Gary Nolan, 8-8 with a 3.55 ERA. Yes, Rick, absolutely. It was an error if the if the 20-sided die. Hold on a second. Let me read that very quickly. That's a good question, Rick. You failed. Okay, error. Failed error. It was a failed error to the outfield, but then it has a question mark. It was on a fly. So if it was an odd, and it wasn't odd. It should have been an error. Hold on a second. Okay. Fly ball dropped in case it's an odd. Roll 1d6 versus, okay. All right, hold on a second. So actually, you know what? It was an error. And you know why it was an error? Because it was an odd number. I looked at the white die. So this is important. We make these distinctions on these videos so we can clarify it in case guys say, oh, wait, okay. I didn't know how I would play that. But if your 20-sided die is an odd number, like let's say a 1, mine was a 1, right? That would be an error on the outfielder. It could be a 2-base error depending on Perez, the runner. Perez, the runner, is a 3, and it says, roll 1d6 versus the base runner. Oh, adjusted base runner. So Rose is a 0 out there. So there's nothing going on. So it's a 3. If less than or equal to the rate, it's a 2 base error. So let's roll. That's a 2. So if it's equal to or less than the hitter, it's a 2 base error. So it's going to 2 base error on. So the umpires come together and they decide that Pete Rose dropped the ball. The ball hit the turf, and it's going to be a 2 base error, putting Perez on second base. And out comes the manager, Tony Porter, CP Cards and Dice, and he's not happy. And he's letting the umpires know about that. So we're on second, 2 outs. So had it been a 2, it would have still been potentially an error, but the fact that it was an even number, it would have nullified the error, and it would have been a ball that Pete Rose would have caught. So that was, no, my friend, thank you very much for refreshing. I appreciate that. I'm still a novice learning IP. I love IP, so that's why I put so much time and effort into it, and I want to learn the rules so that, when I play it, I can confidently share with other guys and say, hey, you better double check that. Was it an even or was it an odd result on that outfielder? And it makes sense because outfielders, they don't make as many errors as infielders. All right, another sip of my drink. Holy smokes. So, Doc Ellis, better proceed with caution here. That's a 6-1, and that's a potential K13. That's rather high. But against a righty, it is a 13. And Lee May strikes out. So Doc Ellis looking good. Bottom of the inning Metros. Gary Nolan versus Pete Rose. No, excuse me. Gary Nolan versus. It's a second. Let me put this together. Bando. Cleon Jones. Let's see where Del Unser is. I didn't have the whole team set up. I just kind of jumped into this pretty quick. Lee. Del Unser. All right, there it is. So that should be it. Jones, Unser, and Rose. And then the cleanup batter is Bando. All right, here goes. Pitch from Nolan to 31. And that's an error on a potential throw. Let's see what that is. So it's a 1-6er, and that's going to be a ball that's driven in the gap by Cleon Jones. That's going to split the outfielders and roll to the wall. So the throw in from the center fielder, let's take a look quickly at the center fielder, who is Stewart, Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart is center fielder. He's a 2-0. So actually a 0. Can't be a 0. What's the rule, Rick, if you're still around? We got a rule in the league that if he's a 0, he becomes at least a 1, I think you said, right? And that's very generous. All right, so he's at least a 1. So it's probably not going to be an error. We rolled a 14, so it's not an error. It's going to be a double. Because, a 1 says that, a 1 is a little bit, and I'm going to give you my opinion, Rick. A 1 is a little bit conservative, I believe, because these are guys that never really played the position, and now you're playing them every day. Like Stewart's going to have to play every day on the Reds if I were to play this fictitious exhibition league, right? But this team is all broken up, by the way. It's all over distributed amongst all the other teams. But yeah, I think to be able to grab a guy who played 3 games and put him in for 54 games at a 1, I'd say maybe a 9 or a 5 or a 6 or something like that. There's this guy. I don't know. or the league average. What was the league average, for center fielders? I'd say maybe a 3, a 2 or a 3. I'm thinking of range. He's a 2 range. I don't know what the league average is on errors, but maybe it's a 4 or a 5. I think it should be. And the guy is not accustomed to that position. He's just covering for that position. So it should be more like a 6 or a 7. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. So Jones doubles to lead off the bottom of the first. Del Unser, here's the pitch from Nolan. It's a 6-4, and that's a potential strikeout, but at 20, it's not going to be a strikeout. So we're rolling off of Unser's card, and here it is. It's a 1-3, and that's a ground ball through the right side, past the diving first baseman Lee May. And Jones may be able to score because Jones is actually a speedster. He's a 5 base runner. He's a 5 base runner, and anybody that is a second to home is going to be a 4. Any 4 or more is going to score. And the right fielder is Tolan. Let's check Tolan's arm. -1. So it makes him a 4, and it's a 4 or more, so he does score. So it's an RBI single for Del Unser. Del Unser's on at first, not going to be stealing. Pete Rose. Pitch to Pete Rose. It's a 2-1. That's a blank off Nolan. Now we go to Rose's card. A 5-1, and that's a ground ball through the right side and a base hit. Unser is pretty quick. He's a 4. And on a first to third is going to be a 3. So Unser's going to hustle over to third base. So we got first and third. Just like that. Now, when we played the Orioles, the World Series team, we faced Jim Palmer. We managed 7 hits off Palmer and 4 walks. Whereas when we pitched Hunter, the Orioles only managed 1 hit off Hunter, and that was a 2-run home run. The final score of that game was 2-1. So that tells you a little bit about the quality of this team, the Metros. They're going to compete for sure in our league. Sal Bando, nobody out, 2 on, 5-3, and that's going to be a strikeout of 7. Is a strikeout, so that's the first out of the inning. Next is Manny Sanguillen. Here's the pitch to Manny Sanguillen. That's a 2-5er, and that's wild. A wild 4. That's a wild pitch. In to score is Unser. That ball rolls past the catcher bench all the way to the backstop. And going to second on the wild pitch is Rose. And it's going to be off Manny Sanguillen, a 2-5, and that's line and caught in left field by Johnson. He's right there for out number 2. Ed Kranepool next. Steady Eddie Kranepool, 63, and that's a blank. We go to Kranepool's card. And a snake eyes, it's a comebacker to Nolan, feels his position, throws out Kranepool, and that retires the side. But they're going to score. The Metros are going to score 2 runs on 3 hits. They lead it 2-0 after 1. Doc Ellis gives John Bench. 3-4 range play. No, strikeout. Potential strikeout. 20 is not going to be a strikeout. So we're going to roll off Bench, a 3-5, and that's a one is a ground ball to the first baseman. Kranepool takes it himself. 1 up, 1 down. Next is Tommy Holmes. Pitches a 2-1, and that's a potential strikeout. The 2 will be a strikeout. Out number 2, and it's Woody Woodward. Woody Woodward is a 1-4 range play. Let's see what happens there. Range play 1-2, and that's the shortstop. We're going to test the shortstop. That's a 5. That's by Popovich for a single. Jimmy Stewart. Woodward is on at first. It's a 2-1. That's a strikeout. A 16 won't be a strikeout. We're rolling off Stewart. Snake eyes, fly ball right field. Right there is Rose, makes the catch, and that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit. Bottom of the inning. Popovich is up. Paul Popovich, he's a shortstop for the Cubs. It's a 5-6 off Nolan. A 5-6 is a potential K. It's a 13, not a strikeout. It's a 3-4. 3-4 is a star line 6, which is a fly to center field. Jimmy Stewart is there. Jose Martinez. Martinez is a 268 hitter. Played in 77 games. That's 6-3. That's a blank. We're looking off Martinez. 6-3 again, and that's a grounded second. 4-3. And it's Doc Ellis. 2 outs. 6-1 against he's a switch hitter. Oh, look at that. Switch hitter is batting lefty, so that's a walk plus. Against a righty, that's going to be a 13. We roll a 19. So now we're going to roll off Doc Ellis. That's a 4-6. A star line 3 is a ground ball, third base. Up with it is Perez. Across the diamond, 3 up, 3 down. No runs, no hits in the bottom of the second. Go to top of the third. We're only playing an exhibition 7-inning game. Just to test out, get a feel for the teams, the players, my team, just to know who I have and how I want to play them and what my lineup should look like. Gary Nolan. Pitch from Doc Ellis. 5-2 is a potential strikeout. A 14 is a strikeout. So that's his third strikeout of the game. So Doc Ellis performing above expectations. Leadoff hitter is Bobby Tolan. So in the wrong spot. Doc Ellis. 4-6 is a potential walk. His walk rating is a 3 and a 5, and that's a 13. So we're going to roll off Tolan. Tolan is a heck of a hitter. 6'5", but he does miss, I think, the whole 1970 season. So whoever picked him up is going to have to carry him for a season. And then he has one more good season, and then after that, he just has average seasons. So 6'5", and against a righty, that's going to be a grounder to Kranepool. Flips to the pitcher. Ellis covering. 2 down. And Alex Johnson. It's a 3-5, and it's a K at 12. That's above the K, so it won't be a K. Alex Johnson, 6'6". And that's line base hit center field. So Alex Johnson with a single. He batted .315. And let's see if he runs. He may be able to steal. And he's got a 2, so we're not going to be stealing with that. This is exhibition. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Tony Perez. And it's a 5-5. That's going to be another walk, potential walk. And it may be a walk against a righty, Ellis. It's a +3. That's going to be a 15, and it is ball 4. So a 2-out walk, putting runners on first and second. So the Reds are threatening in the top of the third. It's 2-0 Metros. Lee May batted .278 with 38 home runs, 110 RBI. So he is definitely a force to be reckoned with. And that's a K, a 7, strike 3, and side is retired. Doc Ellis comes up huge. Allowed a run. Allowed no runs, 1 hit. Bottom of the third. Nolan versus the top of the order, Jones, who's 1 for 1. And it's 2-1. That's a blank. Off Jones. 4-1. That's line. Base hit center field. Jones has been getting 3 hits every exhibition game. He's a monster. So I'm warning the league, just letting you know, heads up. Cleon Jones batting 3. He batted .340. And then I got Pete Rose batted .348. So you better bring your best versus the Metros. Del Unser with Jones on at first base, and Jones to steal is a 3 attempt. Nolan is a 0, and bench is a -3. Nobody's stealing off bench, and I know Benny Blades has got bench. Unser, 5-6. And that's a potential strikeout. A 1 is a strikeout. Munster down swinging, 1 out. Bottom of the third, 2-0 Metros. Pete Rose. It's a 4-2 in that versus a lefty. He is batting lefty. That's a walk plus. Versus a righty, that is a 22. We roll a 7, so that's ball 4. Runners on first and second. For Sal Bando. Sal Bando hit 31 home runs. So he's our main power guy. This team's not really built for power. Mostly singles hitters. 4-2 and pitching. A lot of pitching. 4-2. And he's a righty, so that's going to be a blank. So we're rolling off Bando. That's a 2-1. That's line base hit right field. And let's see what that's going to turn into here. Base hit right field. It's a +1 to score. And we're going to have to go to the throw chart on this. Tolan in right field is a -1. How many outs? There's only 1 out. So that's going to be a 4. So we're going to roll on the throw chart. And that's a 6. That's trouble. So we're going to have a relay and a play at the plate, it looks like. That's a 6. And the 1 says lead runner advances. Ball cut off and a trailing runner in a rundown. Oh, I think that means consider lead runner. Yeah. In a rundown, he's thrown out. So let's figure that out. Okay. So it's going to be an RBI single for Bando. And we're going to get Rose in a rundown. It's 3-0. Rose is going to be in a rundown. 9. Cutoff is 3, 5 out on the pickoff on the rundown. And we can write a whole bunch of other numbers. Doesn't say if my runner advances. Let me see. If cut off and the trailing runner. Consider lead runner to be the trailing runner. Batter can be trailing runner. He's not in this case. Now, the question is, do I go to the rundown chart? Anybody here who knows? Do I go to the rundown chart on this, or do I just play what it says? It says trailing runner is thrown out. But there's a rundown chart. Oh, rundown chart would be the next one. I got you. So I guess Bando doesn't go to second. How would I know if Bando goes to second on the rundown that Pete Rose got into? All right, we're going to leave Bando at first. Doesn't have much speed anyway. He's average speed, not too bad. So it's 3-0 now, Metros, and it's Manny Sanguillen. Pitch for Nolan. That's a 5-1, and against a righty, that's a potential walk of 17. Won't be a walk. Sanguillen's a free swinger. That's a 2-5, and that's a fly to left, out number 2. Next is Ed Kranepool. That's a 6-1 versus a lefty is a walk plus, and that's going to be 18. We roll a 14. That's a base on balls. First and second for Paul Popovich. Paul Popovich, the shortstop, 284 hitter in 88 games, half the season. 62, that's a strikeout, and a 6 will be a strikeout, and that retires a side. But the Metros pick up 1 run on 2 hits, and they lead at 3-0. Doc Ellis versus Johnny Bench. Here's the pitch. It's a 6-2, and that says wild, so we're going to re-roll that. And now it's a 5-6, and that's a potential home run. Uh-oh. Johnny Bench versus a righty is a 16. We roll a 19, so that won't cut it. We're rolling off Bench. 2-2, that's a fly ball, deep left field. Back goes Jones to the track, to the wall. Makes the catch. So John Bench gave it a ride. I actually have John Bench's signature. I got to show you that. Tommy Helms, 269 hitter. It's a 3-1. That's an error on a grounder, potential error on a grounder. And that's a 3-2, and it's popped up. Second baseman Martinez, he's there. 2 out, and it's Woody Woodward. It's a 6-2. That's wild, so we're rolling again. And it's a 6-1 this time. That's a potential strikeout. We roll, and it looks like it's between a 20 and an 8. We roll a 13, and that is a strikeout. So that's his 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth strikeout of the game. We're going to write a little 5 right here. Fifth strikeout of the game for Doc Ellis in 4 innings. Love to see that. It's going to be Jose Martinez, batted .268. He defends himself with the bat. And that's going to be a question mark home run. We rolled a 17 against a righty batter. That's going to be beyond the range, so we're rolling off Martinez's card. It's a 3-5, and that's going to be line base hit right field. Martinez goes the other way for a single. Played on a hop by Bobby Tolan. Doc Ellis is going to bunt. 18. He is a 3 bunter, so this may not work for us. Let's see. He's a 3 bunter. And 18 is going to be a ground ball double play. So we're going to call it a 2-6-4 double play. 2 outs. Cleon Jones is 2 for 2. Pitch from Nolan. 4-3 is ballpark. Love that. Ballpark. Don't know what's going to happen here. That's a 6-5. And that's a star line fly ball in the gap. Running after, chasing after is Jimmy Stewart, and makes the catch for the 3rd out. Great catch and great jump by Jimmy Stewart. All right. So in the 4th, that was the top of the 4th. It was 0-0, and then it was again a 0-1. We go to the top of the 5th. These are 7-inning games. It's Doc Ellis versus Jimmy Stewart. And that's a 3-4, and that's against a switch hitter batting lefty is a blank, so we're rolling off Jimmy Stewart's card. And it's a 2-3. That's a slow grounder to the shortstop. Charging it is Popovich, throws on the run and gets Stewart. Pitcher Gary Nolan. That's a 2-3, and versus a righty, that's a potential K. A 9 is a K. K number 6. And now it's Bobby Tolan. And it's a 3-6. That's a potential home run. An 18 won't be a home run. So we're rolling off of Tolan. And it's a 4-2 fly ball right field. Under it is Rose, makes the catch. No hits, no runs. It's Del Unser. Pitch from Nolan. That's a 6-6, and that's a range play. These are fun. See what happens. Range play 4-5, and versus a righty, it's a fly ball left field. Will he catch it? I don't know. The left fielder is Johnson, and that's a 5. I don't know. Johnson is a 3, so that's going to drop in there. Will it be a single or a double? It's a single. Leadoff single for Del Unser. He's got good speed. He's a 4 base running. There's a lot of dice in there. This game requires a lot of rolls. But it's good. Every roll is meaningful. It's not just rolling for no result. It's, for me, very meaningful. Everything tells you, R.I.P. Rose, here's the pitch. It's a 4-5, and that's a strikeout, a 6, and that is a K. Nolan with his 1, 2, 3, 4th K of the game. And now it's Sal Bando, waiting for Sal Bando to connect. His first home run of the exhibition season, 1969. Sal Bando, pitch 62. That's going to be a potential strikeout of 15. Won't be a strikeout. We're looking off Bando's card. I don't think he has a home run off his card. No, he doesn't. So 1-2, and that's a fly ball. That's lined to left field. Will it get caught? And versus a righty, it is caught by the left fielder. Nice play by Alex Johnson. F7, 2 outs. Gary Nolan. And that's a 3-4. That's a strikeout. A 5 is a K. And that retires the inning. That retires the side. That's K number 6. And that's 1 hit. No runs, 1 hit. We go to the top of the 6th inning. Doc Ellis versus Alex Johnson. Johnson's 1 for 2. Here's the pitch. It's a snake eyes. That's a potential error. Let's see what that becomes. A 6-1 is a line drive base hit to right field. Will it be an error? It's a 10. Our right fielder is Rose. I do not think that Rose. No, Rose is a 4, so he makes the throw in. So it's a leadoff single for Alex Johnson. Next is Tony Perez. He batted .294 in the whole season of play. And that's a 6.3. That's a K plus. So that's going to make it a 22. We roll a 18, and it's strikeout. Ellis blows it by Perez for strikeout number 7, 1 out. Top of the 6th. Lee May, Snake Eyes. Again, a potential error. And it's a 2-6, and that's a ground ball to short. And he bobbles it. Tough play. Let's see if he throws it over the first baseman's head or in the dirt. I don't know, allowing the runner to make it to the third base. Let's see. That's a 7. The shortstop, Popovich, is a shortstop. He's a 7, so that is going to be an error. Now, is it going to be a 1-base or a 2-base error? That's the question here. I don't remember if I said that was a throw or not. Or I think it was just a plain error. It was just a plain, so it would be a failed error check on a not on the ground. Hold on, failed error pop-up fly. I think that's on a single. Okay, on the throw. It's going to be a 1-base error on the throw. Okay, so basically Lee May singles, and the throw sails over Kranepool's head, allowing Johnson to go to third, retrieved quickly by the right fielder Rose, who's backing up, and May is going to go to second base. So now we got second and third. Error on the shortstop, Popovich, and it's John Bench. So it's getting exciting here in the top of the 6th inning. It's Metros 3, Reds zilch. In the top of the 6th, there's 1 out, runners on second and third, and here comes the upside down John Bench. Here's the pitch. It's a 36. That's going to be a question mark home run, and a 4 against a righty is right outside of the home run range. It's a 1-3. So we got really lucky there. We rolled a 4. Just made it. So we're going to roll off Bench, and that's a 5, 6, and that's going to be a star line 5, which is a ground ball second base. That's going to allow a run to score. We're going to run home there. So it's an RBI for Bench. Going to third is May. It's a 3-1 ball game now. And it's Tommy Helms. 2 outs. Runner on third. 3-1. Here's the pitch from Ellis. It's a 2-5 hit by pitch. Ellis is a -3. Helms is a 1. We roll a 2. Wait a second. No, it's still a minus. So we're going to roll off Helms. And that's a 6-4. Oh, and that's going to be a ball that's pulled down the line into left field corner. Scoring easily is May. 3-2. Going into second base. Here's the throw, and not in time. So it's a double by Helms. That puts the tying run at second base. And up comes Woody Woodward. Here's the pitch from Ellis. 3-5. That's a strikeout. A 20 won't be a strikeout. So we're rolling off Woody Woodward with the tying run in scoring position. Helms is a 3-base runner, but with 2 outs, he's a 4. That's going to be a 6-1. And that's going to be a ground ball through the right side into right field for a base hit. And they're waving Helms. And here's the relay, the play at the plate. Not in time, and the game is tied. Doc Ellis gave up a huge double and now a single with 2 outs. RBI single for Woody Woodward. Coming up huge, and the game is tied at 3 apiece. Now, Woodward is not a threat to steal, so we won't even be looking at that. Next is Jimmy Stewart, and that's a 5-5. It's going to be a potential walk. A 12 won't be a walk. We're rolling off Stewart, and that's a 3-6. which is a star line 3, which is a ground ball to Bando. Bando up with it. Goes the short way to second, and that retires the side. But the Reds pick up 3 huge runs on 1, 2, 3, 4 hits, and an error. Don't forget that error. Big error on the shortstop, Popovich. And it was just barely an error. I mean, he's a 7 error, and it landed on a 7. So had it been an 8, to infinity, it wouldn't have been an error. So both managers have agreed to not play the extra innings in this game. They're just going to accept, the tie after 7. So we got an inning and a half of baseball here in our exhibition. Game 3 for the Metros. This is my team. Let me know what you think, and if you can give me any advice on the batting order, on any insight into what you see happening. I'd be very grateful and receptive to any input. Eddie Kranepool, Popovich, and Martinez. And that's going to be off of Nolan. That's a 5-4, and that's a potential home run. 5-4 is a question mark home run versus a lefty. It's a 1, and we roll at 12, so that's not going to do it. All right, 6-1, and that's a chopper to second. Second baseman Helms whips it to first baseman May for out number 1. Next is Paul Popovich. He's 0 for 2. It's a 5-5, a walk 15. Versus walk 15 versus a righty. That's an 11, so it's not going to be a walk. We're rolling off Popovich. It's a 2-1, and that's a ground ball up the middle and through to center field for a base hit. 1 for 3 for Popovich today. Martinez, a 268 hitter with Popovich on it first. Popovich is not much of a base runner. He doesn't steal very much. So that's 5-5. And that's a potential walk. We roll an 18. It won't be a walk at 18. We're rolling off Martinez's card. And that is a 4-5 ground ball 1, which is a fly ball, shallow center. Racing in is the center fielder, Stewart. He gets there. And now it's Doc Ellis. We're going to bring in a pinch hitter and a new pitcher. Our pinch hitter is going to be Amos Otis, a rookie we have on our he may be in our minors. I don't know where he's going to be, if he's going to be on the 25-man roster or in the minors. We'll see. Pinch hitter, Amos Otis, with 2 out. Here's the pitch. And it's a 3-3. That's a potential K, and a 2 is a K, and that retires the side. Kenny Brett is coming in to finish off. So Ellis went 6 innings. He gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs. He walked 1, struck out 7. So we're happy with Doc Ellis today. And it's going to be Brett. Brett's going to get pink. I do these colors when guys come in. Got to sharpen all my pencils. It's going to... All right. He's facing Gary Nolan, the pitcher. I don't really care about this game. So it's 3-2. 3-2 is a star line 1. Oh, wait. Got to put Kenny Brett there. Kenny Brett. Star line 1 is a grounder second. Up with it is Martinez. Throws out Nolan. 1 up, 1 down. Top of the order, Bobby Tolan. Pitcher Kenny Brett. 6'6", range play, ballpark. And that's a 2-3. 2-3 is a ground ball second base. Ground ball up the middle, and Martinez dives for it. Up, fires to first in time to just get Nolan by half a step. Great play by Martinez. And now it's Alex Johnson. All right, it's a 3-5. That's a blank, so we're looking off Johnson's card. And a 3-3 is a little nubber to the first baseman. First baseman plays it barehanded, turns around to the second baseman, 3-4, and they get Johnson. It's an unusual play, so it was a great play by Martinez, who knew he had the cover. The pitcher didn't get there. 3 up, 3 down. Go to last licks for the Metros. It's going to be the top of the order. Jones, Unser, and Rose. Metros need a run to win it. Here's the pitch from Nolan. Oh, that's foul back. A souvenir for a lucky fan. And one of the dice goes flying, and it's back. It's 3-4. 3-4 is a potential K of 14. Won't be a K, so Cleon Jones. And it's a 41. That's line base hit center field. That's a third hit for Jones. He's got a – we'll fix that real quick. I used the best way to do this sort of thing with these boxes being so small are these lines. One line is for a single, 2 lines is for a double. And I've seen – I copied this from some guy who does that. So that's 3 singles today. And he's on at first. I'm going to try to get a lead. That's a 20. Oh, he may get picked off. Holy smokes. May get picked off. The pickoff is blank, so there's no pickoff there. But it may be a balk as well, I believe. So let's roll. 1 or 2 is a balk, no balk. Okay. So Jones is on at first. Del Unser now. 3-3, bottom of the 7th. This is last licks. This is exhibition. We only play 7 inning games in this league. This is my league, my exhibition league. 3-4, that's a potential strikeout of 17. Won't be a strikeout, so we're looking off Unser. 1 sixer, and that's going to be a question mark 8. And that ball's going to, oh my goodness, that ball's going to get pulled down into the right field corner after it is Tolan. Kind of bounces away from him. Around to score is Jones, and the ball game is over. So we're going to call that a double, RBI double, and that's a walk-off double. And Del Unser is getting mobbed at the plate, at second base, rather, by his teammates. It looks like they won the World Series. They're tearing off his shirt, and out comes the champagne. This is exhibition game 3. The Metros win it in dramatic fashion in the bottom of the 7th on a single by Jones, and then a run-scoring double by Del Unser versus Gary Nolan. Gary Nolan's going to get the loss. The win's going to go to Kenny Brett, who pitched a 1-2-3 inning, a guy you'd never expected from, with a 5.26 ERA. Kenny Brett, I believe, has a future and has a few good seasons in him. So we want to keep him around. I believe this young man has potential to develop into an arm that can, really be a positive force on the team. So Kenny Brett gets the victory. Del Unser gets the game-winning double to drive in Jones, Cleon Jones, who had 3 hits once again. I think he's had 3 games, and he's got 9 hits. He's got three hits in every game. I mean, he's an offensive force to be reckoned with. And again, I put out I make that public declaration that the Metros are going to be a force to be reckoned with. So the league, I put I'm letting the league know that, it is what it is. Metros can hit 1 run, 2 hits. Metros win it by a score of 4-3 in the bottom of the 7th. There was 6 hits, no errors. Metros had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hits. Again, they out-hit their opponent, and 1 error. And we improve our record to 2 wins and 1 loss. We'll keep on playing different teams and getting a feel for our draft league team. So inside pitch league team. So that'll be great. And I believe we're looking for owners for next year. So, get a hold of us, get a hold of Rick. And you can do that through me, and I will contact him and so forth. Or you can, if you're on here when I run these games, so on, And we may actually play a couple of these games and stream some of our league games. That would be fun. I could set that up, and I could stream it from my side, and that would be interesting to do. Or somebody else could stream it from their side, and that would get us some recognition as well, so we can continue to grow the league. You don't want to grow too much, because then you don't have enough really upcoming talent to carry you. But anyway, this is CP Cards and Dice, and saying thanks for stopping by and watching our exhibition game. I'm wondering if you think the Metros are a pretty exciting team or not. I think they can hold their own in this league. They got a lot of young up-and-coming arms. They got Kenny Brett. They got Nolan Ryan. We got Vita Blue. These are up-and-coming superstars for sure, and they're going to make the difference, I think, in the future. This is your home for tutorials and strategy and player profiles, history, reviews, news, tips, tops, baseball cards, rants, unboxings, and so much more. Thanks for stopping by the CP Cards and so much more. Thanks for stopping by the CP Cards and Dice, saying adios, amigo.